Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Casey O'Brien. I'm the Executive Director and Principal Investigator of the National CyberWatch Center. I want to welcome everybody to our May monthly webinar talking about National Centers of Academic Excellence program, some updates to that, and support, or I should say technical support and resources available. A couple things before we get started. One is that we're recording this, so if everybody could mute your phones and or your speakers on your computers or however you're connecting into the web platform, that would be great. We'll leave plenty of time after the panelists run through the slides to ask questions. And I know they've timed their slides to allow sufficient time at the end. So also technical problems, you can email me. I'll post it in the chat room. O'Brien, COBRIEN @ National CyberWatch.org. Any problems? Quickly, just about the 2015 webinar series. This is the second year we've been running this free webinar series, really, and the idea is to simply bring together subject matter experts from not only the academic community, but also government entities and private industry associations, and get folks together to talk about topics of interest for the community. It's always the last Friday of each month. It's an hour long. We start sharp at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We record and archive the videos on the National CyberWatch Center YouTube channel. If you want to quickly here, let me go over here. Let me actually pull up a new tab real quick. And this is always dangerous, opening a website live while you're doing a presentation. If you go to the National CyberWatch Center website, we have events link in the upper right there. You can click on that and you can find out not only about current events or upcoming events, but also things like webinars. And so you can see, for example, the next webinar will be August 28th. We'll talk about this. It's a question and answer session with the folks from the Advanced Forensics Education Consortium. They've got some really good digital forensics related courseware and resources, videos, for example, available for members of National CyberWatch. So you'll want to be sure to check that webinar out, and you can see the rest of the webinars are posted for the remainder of the 2015 year. So let me go back to my slides here. Folks are joining us. So we have with us today our esteemed panelists, Dr. Vera Zrodkovich, or Dr. Z, or Dr. ZAE2Y, depending on how well you know Dr. Z. She's a senior advisor to the National CyberWatch Center. She's the original principal investigator back when we were CyberWatch, 2005 to 2009. And she's going to be talking a little bit about some of the thematic updates, technical support resources. Denisha Jackson is the CAE program manager from the National Security Agency, and she's on the phone with us. Professor Michael Burt from Prince George's Community College. He's also involved with the National CyberWatch Center, has been for about the past 7.5 of our 9 years. Michael was the original person that filled the CAE-2Y application, went through the whole process on behalf of Prince George's Community College. So he was basically one of the first 6 people in the country to go through that process at the community college level, and as such, Prince George's Community College was one of the first 6 original CAE-2Ys, and then he again went through the process a second time when the programmatic changes were made program, and Prince George's was again redesignated last year. And then we have with us Dr. Tony Colson, Director of Cybersecurity, the Cybersecurity Center at Cal State San Bernardino. He's the chair of the CAE community, and he's a co-principal investigator of CyberWatch West He focuses on faculty development. So that's our panel. I'm going to, with further ado, turn it over to who's up next. Important facts.
It's me, Vera Zdravkovic. Good morning. First of all, let me point out that the Center for Academic Excellence designation is not a programmatic designation as sometimes people believe it to be. It is an institutional designation. That makes a world of difference because, for instance, if you have in a nursing field, when you have nursing accreditation or when you have engineering technology accreditation, these are all programmatic designations. The difference is that CAE is an institutional designation. And when you look over the criteria in the CAE application, it becomes very clear why it is institutional designation and that it does take involvement on part of the institution. The designation is awarded by two government agencies, National Security Agency and the Department of Homeland Security. The CAE is awarded twice a year, typically in June as part of the CC colloquium, and the second time in November, typically at the NICE workshop. The dates for these two are given in one of the slides at the end, and the dates and the locations are given at the end. Also, the CAE designation is awarded on basis of an successful completion of the application. Application has a certain number of criteria. Actually, there are 7 criteria. They are described later on here, and Denisha Jackson will go over the criteria. One of the criteria is mapping to knowledge units, and Michael Burt will go into some detail over that. Next, please. What do you want to become to secure the CAE designation? First of all, it is a Center for Academic Excellence, or CAE designation, gives you an internal recognition support. What does that mean? It means that all of a sudden, not just your department chair, but your dean, your academic vice president or provost, your president, everybody is aware of your program because, again, it is an institutional recognition. Not only that, in order to complete successful application, you have to work with other departments, even the technology department, the security and the financial departments in the institution. So all of a sudden, everybody is aware of your own program, which most likely they might have been aware so far. So not only is that awareness increased, but also they are more likely to support you. Because if you now go to the academic vice president and say, I really need another faculty or a position in my department, something like that will be more likely supported on this basis than before, because the awareness is higher and the college is a center of academic excellence. Likewise, receiving a CAE designation, you would receive also external recognition support. What does that mean? Well, your president and your VP are going to go around and brag to the Chamber of Commerce, to the local politicians, to the industry. You will talk about it at your industry advisory board or any other event that you attend. In this way, plus typical, the local newspaper will have an article about it, and the fame will spread. As the institution becomes recognized for this designation, likewise the support is going to be increased. So that is a major plus. The graduates also, CAE graduates, have job opportunities, especially if you develop a certificate is given to every graduating student graduating in the program that he or she has graduated from a Center of Academic Excellence. So that way, there will be a recognition and acknowledgement of of the excellence of the program and of the quality of the program. Sometimes, rarely though, but sometimes the college will agree to put something like an asterisk or something by on the diploma that will earmark the fact that this particular student has graduated from a program that is designated as a Center for Academic Excellence. And finally, you have greater opportunities for collaboration and funding opportunities. What do I mean by that? The CAE community is an elite community. It's very small. Especially the CAE-Y is very small. Last year there were 33 CAE-Ys, but now with the new redesignation requirements and the new application, we have now, and Denisha, you can correct me, upwards from about 20 CAE-Y community colleges that have been redesignated under the new criteria. Well, that's a tiny, tiny number when you consider that the total number of community colleges in the United States is 1,200. So it is less than 2%. And it's very, very small. Therefore, there is a bond and there is a good networking within this community, not just CAE-Y, but CAE in general. And Tony Colson will say more about it toward the end of this panel discussion. So there is definite collaboration between the CAE institutions, and they help each other, and you learn from each other. Also, your funding opportunities, whether there are funding opportunities for travel, whether there are, and the National CyberWatch offered travel support in the past, offered travel support to the NICE convention, offered travel support to the meeting in June. So in addition to that, if you apply for any kind of grant or any kind of funding, mentioning that you're a Center for Academic Excellence, indeed, you get better opportunity and chance to get that funding opportunity realized. So it enhances your chances for funding opportunities. Slide, please.
Yes, so everyone, I will be going through the CAE program criteria with you. When you complete your CAE application, there are basically two parts. You'll do your KU mapping, which Michael will talk more about, but you also have to do a written portion, which we call the program criteria requirements. And without just, I can go to the next slide, please. So first, the letter of intent. It's very, very, very important that you have a letter of intent from a dean or some higher level of leadership at your institution to start doing your application. It's a lot of work. So the last thing we would want is for you to start doing all this work, and you find out that you're not getting the support you need, and I can't get it because no one knew that you were even doing it. So it's very important that you're what you are about to, and that they support you and can give you the additional faculty or whoever it is that you need to help you complete this application. Sometimes we find that you want to do it, but workers may not want to do it. So we kind of need everyone on board because it's pretty much a hard task to do all alone. This letter would be uploaded into our system RE applications are online. So while you have to put your leopard like that, you still can just upload it into the application system. No need to send it to us. Stop, please. So this criteria is program outreach and collaboration. This, to me, is one of the most important criteria for the program, because this is what makes you a leader in cybersecurity. So I want to know that you are sharing curriculum, know that your faculty does sit in boards at other schools and help determine the curriculum there. We want to know that there are articulation agreements between high schools, and if you're a 2-year school, if you're a 4-year school, that there are articulation agreements with the schools. We'd like to know that you have your students out there doing cyber competitions, that you are big gem to your community. If they run into a problem where they need some, say, digital forensic on a cell phone or something from the police department may need it. I don't know. But we want you to be the person or the school that they come to for that. We want you to be the ones that are training students or getting them interested in cybersecurity through summer camps and things like that. So it's very important that you are there for your community in addition to having the curriculum in place. Also like to see that you are providing practitioners to your students so they can talk to people with real experience and things like that. I mean, if anyone has questions, I can't see if her hand is raised or anything, so please take questions if you have them on a particular side. I don't have a problem with that. So the IACD Center Establishment and Maintenance. So this part is new. This is a new criteria as of last year for the CAE-R. It's been a year application for a while, but I added it to the CAE-R because this is your place where you meet yourself. So when we say center, you're not necessarily have a physical location in your school where people come and talk, hey, let's talk cyber. No. We just want you to have a presence. So for most schools, it's usually a web presence. And that web presence, and just tease me because this is where you show them your goodies, but this is where you show off your school. You are there. That presence will show what programs you have. That presence will show what news is going on in your department in terms of where your students are competing or what awards you may have just received or what grant you may have just received. It'll be a place where students can go for really, maybe need to learn more about a certain thing. You will put resources there for students to link to. There's a place for their parents to go where they say, oh, yes, this is the school for my child. We would like, to have, contact information for your centers, POC, and things like that listed as well. If you do any partake with other schools, for your cyber classes, that's a place for them as well. What I usually tell people is have a cyber club at your school or something like that. Let those guys keep up with it. You can let them keep up with the site for you, because this thing is what will almost entire application for you to designate in 5 years. If you keep up with this, if you put all the news that's going on with your program there, if you put, if you keep your classes, the courses that you have to take for the degree up to date, single site will do your entire application for you when it's time to redesignate. And I truly believe that. But it's important that, it's current and dynamic, but basically you'll be archiving everything that you're doing right there. When it's time to resonate, what you have to do is those links. also student curriculum paths and recognition. But this is kind of a new one. When, as Casey was saying, when we updated, we had the programmatic updates. This was an important part to that. We want to make sure that not only was the institution receiving recognition for training CAE, but that your students know that they want to school as a center of academic excellence, and that those students are using that to market themselves as well. So we're asking that provide your students with a letter, stamp on their transcript that said they went through CAE to CAE path, or provide them with a certificate. More people know, including your students, about CAE, and more that industry will know and know the importance and the hard work that they put in to go through that path. Now, the important thing about path is that we look at the courses that you use to map your curriculum. Every degree or certificate program that you put in and say, yeah, the path that the students take, we will compare what you map to in that path to make sure that those students are really taking that path, because that's the starting part there, that those students are receiving that core curriculum we determined from the KUs. So if they're not really taking a path, then they really can't say that they are CAE students, right? So the important part with this criteria, that the path that you say that they're taking, when you map, it'll be the path that's carved out in every program you have or whatever certificate program that you have. When you start talking KUs, and Michael will probably tell you more about it, you use the least number of courses possible, and so that's very important when it comes to CAE-2Y, because know that you can only have so many credit hours when it comes to recovery path for your students. So those two things kind of go hand in hand. But the most important part here, in addition to the KU mapping, is that your students are also being recognized for going through that path and I guess all the courses they need to say that they are CAE-2Y as well. Next slide, please. RCD, multidisciplinary effort. So this one, we sometimes have not really an issue, but some people don't understand it so completely. For this one, we're looking to your nursing program at your institution, because this is an institution-level designation. So say that the nursing program is teaching HIPAA, or that in your business department you're talking about. So what's tricky here is that sometimes the cybersecurity program who's going through designation might be in business. So then you would be or computer science or something like that. So, but the point is that that cybersecurity is being embraced throughout the, not just in your area or your department. And so, I'll say one thing about that. That may mean that you get to more some of the business professors better, because you might help them come up with a module to teach a certain cybersecurity course. Our goal is, and we understand a lot of times departments together, but that we want you to talk to each other, because cybersecurity is so huge that everyone should know and should be doing and practicing it. So the practice of, and which means to this one, practice of ACD at the institutional level. So this is basically us trying to make sure you have a security plan in place in the event that something happens, trying to make sure that you are warning the students with appropriate use and conduct and things like that. So this example will ask for your, if you have an SSO or a comparable person, staff, and we will ask who that person is and if you could provide a job description. But this is just us trying to make sure that you guys have proper security in place as a whole. Please. IACD faculty. So this criteria it changes a little bit depending on if you are doing CAE-2Y or if you're doing just 4 and up. CAE-2Y will ask, who's the full-time sponsor for the program and share any adjunct faculty, and we'll see if they have certain certifications. We don't necessarily look for if those professors are publishing or things like that. Now, the 4-year criteria, we will ask that. We'll ask, what is this thing, or what are your faculty members doing? Are they writing grants? Are they publishing? Are they doing research? Because at the 4-year level, we want to make sure that they, that the faculty is also staying current with in cybersecurity as well. So with those type of questions, and sometimes that schools will provide us papers, or they'll provide us, links to conferences that your faculty may have just and things like that. And that's kind of all. Might want me to? I can do this slide if you like, or
sure.
Okay, so mapping tension, it's like I said, this is the second part, and Michael will go over this with you. But to start off, it's important you understand that there are 3 levels. In CAE community, we've kind of come up with what we think is the core, and there are 11 of those for 2Y. And a 4-year school would have to meet that 2Y core in addition to some other mandatory, 6 other mandatory KUs. And then there are a host of optional KUs that also map to. And I think one thing we didn't mention in this brief, and I'll mention it to you really quickly here, is that in addition to getting your CAE designation, your school can also become designated in one of the 17, I think, focus areas that we have. So you may say, not only am I a CAE, but we are the criminal to digital forensics and things like that. And that's where those optional knowledge units come in, because some of those, if you're in optional knowledge units, map to in your curriculum, you can, explain and justify why you are either in one of those focus areas as well. And you can, if you would like to apply for a focus area, you do that at any point. You can do your designation this year, and then next year you may just want to do a few extra KUs to get to the focus area. But I think that's it for me. I'll let Michael take over. So, Anthony, I did 6 mandatory in addition to the 11. And then the 4 also has to do 5 on top of that. So for you, that would be 22. But for CAE-2Y, they have to map to the 11 core. Anyone? I'm sorry, I haven't been checking this.
Casey, we'll allow time at the end for questions, okay?
Okay, sounds good. I'll be here.
Okay, I'll begin and end with a commercial on this part because I could sit here and talk for quite a while on actually how to really do the mapping, but Plattenberger and Portia Fossé authored a very, very good how to do the mapping. I also put together a video on my experience in doing it. I think those two can really give you some insight and some tips and stuff on how to do this properly. So what is hit the key parts. The most important part, which is actually a two-pronged. So number one is picking the courses that you're going to use. Aisha said you want to pick the amount of courses to for your mapping to. And you also make sure that those are, for the most part, core classes so that you meet the criteria of being able to give everyone who does your program that extra certificate that they finished the curriculum that was mapped to the institution mapped to get the CAE-2Y to begin with. Second prong of that, most important thing to do is creating your master syllabi. That, to me, was probably the most important thing, where I made sure that in our master syllabi, master syllabi, it's your institutional's way to make sure that everyone that's teaching a particular subject teaches the information, that they get the core required curriculum out to the students. And then looking at a mapping perspective, it's all defined syllabi, and then you follow the same template for all your courses. You make your mapping so much easier. Putting the master syllabi together, I find that using if you already have a textbook selected, taking the entire detailed table of contents works wonders. If you're using a virtual environment like NetLab, for example, I also list each of the like Security Plus course I put in the Security Plus NetLab labs in there as well, because they're well known. You can map. They'll cover a lot of the mapping elements, and again, that makes your life so much easier when you've got to check it out. What you need to go into is, and again, do this before you ever start the actual process of putting the mapping on, is select like I said, the courses you use. If you're familiar with all the courses in your department that you in the program, I strongly urge you to do this as a group. Get all your key, both Fulton and adjuncts together. So you can't come together with a consensus on which courses to use, and then you put them in. And you have the real detailed, that's right, you're going to put all that information in. Go to the mapping, you're able to pinpoint down to a very subtopic level how you meet that particular KU. And with that, I'll head again and say that that will help you out our leading guideline that was created by Fred and Portia, and that I put together. I think the two, I've gotten feedback on both of those items. I think they've helped people a lot. And my point would have been to make sure that you develop a plan before you start this, or you can just sit there, or you'll sit there and spin your wheels, as it is. There's a lot of work to do the mapping, but if you have a good plan, you get all your resources together, you contact the people throughout your institution that you need, it can go a lot smoother.
Michael?
I am.
Okay, so Michael, in a couple reference materials, the URLs are here. By the way, we will be making these slides available on our website, events section of our website. You'll be able to see past and upcoming webinars, and there'll be links to the slides as well as the video recordings of this. Michael mentioned specifically a mapping guide. You can see the URL there. It's being updated as I speak, so in time for the Colloquium for Information Systems Security Education, which is the 15th, 16th, and 17th, and the Community College Cyber Summit, which is the 17th, 18th, and 19th of June. So, who wants a slide? Sample mapping resource.
I can take it. This is Zdravkovic. Here, sample of the mapping resource. It is self-explanatory. It is basically the information that you can provide and that you have and that you must provide in the syllabus course objectives. As Michael said, the syllabus course objectives are, it is best to have a master syllabus so that every faculty member who teaches that class uses the same master, adheres to the same course syllabus. Not only that, the course syllabus objectives have to be specific, and you can see here the level of specificity described in this particular syllabus course objectives. The next slide. Well, this is something that I think, Michael, you want to go over these core units?
Sure. What's nice about the new mapping system from the older system when we did the 4011 and 4013 is you're able to have essentially an Excel spreadsheet online that you can click on the different KUs and delve down to each of the subtopics that you need to cover. And things that I didn't mention was that the spreadsheets several of us have made available, are always willing to share, that we've already completed, that we use during the mapping process just to help anybody out. So I said it is quite a detailed process going through and doing this. Questions? Whoops, I'm sorry. And if one person isn't with quite a bit, isn't familiar with the entire program, get a team to help you to go through this process. And I can't emphasize enough how important the master syllabi is. We keep saying that over and over. As long as you've got all your outcomes, expected outcomes, your table of contents, the actual course material that you're using inside your syllabi, it'll make your life easier. And you can, again, some of the topics can actually cover several KUs. Okay.
Right. This is our application deadline. So right now what's happening is the system is currently closed for reviews. Everyone who put in the application should hear something no later than Monday. Last first, it will open back up. If you put an application by August 1st, you can be designated NICE. And some of the institutions who are redesignated will need to do this because they didn't come in on time. So in order to retain their CAE designation, we put this short one in. Then it'll remain open, and you will have until February 15th to get your application. Yep, that's all for that one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Vera Zdravkovic. I just wanted to mention one thing that was missed in the resources. National CyberWatch has people designated to assist those who need some help, support, assistance with CAE mapping. We have Dr. Fred Klappenberger, who is a consultant to National CyberWatch and who wrote the CAE guide. We also have Michael Bird, who you heard from, and who has done that mapping both under the old system with CNSS standards and with the knowledge unit standards. And so they are both National CyberWatch and actually CyberWatch West have consultants who can help and assist those who need some personal assistance beyond the guide, beyond other resources to complete the mapping. Thank you.
Want to take this one? So I want to be respectful of time. We've got about 22 minutes or so. Make sure that we have enough time for questions as well.
I'll only take an hour or so.
If you'd like me to finish up, I can finish up, Casey.
Go.
Okay, so what next step is basically you don't have an account yet. You're more than welcome to go to this website that you see right there, www.ag.gov, and that's where you can request an account. Also find all the requirements and things like that under requirements and resources on that page as well. The only thing is once you request an account, you won't really be able to see much until July 1st when we open it back up. So it may just be a good idea that you download that KU mapping matrix that Michael was talking about, and then just start looking around and trying to figure out what you even need to do. One important part about the CAE application that I didn't mention is that documentation, supporting documentation is everything. Like you can't just say, yes, my faculty is at Prince George's Community College, as well as Anne Arundel Community College, and we develop curriculum together. Show us exactly what it is that you're doing. Lately I've seen, and which I think is awesome, a lot of people saying, I'm a member of CyberWatch, but show us what it is that you're doing as a member of CyberWatch. Like, what are you working on together? Because I know you guys are doing some great stuff. So don't just say that. Show us what you're doing. Just provide any support documentation. Like, so for example, if you're talking about your labs, put us with the slide so we can see the lab that you're doing those labs, or take pictures of the labs. So whatever it is that you can do to prove that you're doing, it's fine. If it's just an email from Casey, it's just an email from Casey, but we know that work is being done. Not that we don't believe that we don't trust you, but just like any other, accreditation, and not saying the word accreditation, but if you're going through a process like that where you're being accredited, we need to be able to support what it is that you're saying that you're doing on our behalf as well. A lot of people depend on, this designation, they make major decisions based on this. So we just need to make sure that we can support what it is that you say you're doing, and that you should be able to support it as well. I think that's all for that slide. I'm not sure. Let's see what the next slide is. Oh, this is just how the screen looks when you go into apply for your account. The welcome screen will look just like this. Before you get to this, it'll say that, this is dangerous. Are you sure you want to continue? It's totally fine to just continue. We promise you won't get any viruses or anything like that. That's screening.
Then why don't we go, skip over this stuff, right? I don't think
okay.
People,
yeah, not a problem.
When they start the process, Tony, is this your piece?
Well, I can comment on it, but I believe it's Vera's.
Okay.
On the CAE resources, you can see that you have a number of resources. You have the National Security Agency website, you have the National CyberWatch website, you have the CyberWatch West website, and you have the CAE website. That's the one Tony is going to talk about. So you have several websites, and each of these websites lists specific resources, and both National CyberWatch and CyberWatch West also have model applications. So you can see applications of some of the colleges who have submitted, successfully applied for the CAE-2Y designation. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want me to go, Casey, or you want to talk about upcoming events, or how do you want to go?
How you're supposed to go. So if this isn't your slide, I'm happy to talk about this.
Not slide, but go ahead.
I mentioned two events coming up the week of June 15th, the colloquium, and that is where new designees will be honored. A lot of discussion around programmatic changes, an opportunity to answer any questions, meet with the CAE folks that run the program, with faculty that have gone through mapping. Same with the Community College Cyber Summit, the following 3 days after the colloquium. And then there is the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education, or NACE workshop, which is slated for the 3rd and 4th of November in San Diego. All opportunities to engage with people involved in this process. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there'll be a CAE community meeting, November 3rd?
November 2nd.
November 2nd, thank you. So upcoming
the designation ceremony will likely be at the CAE community meeting, because it'll be their introduction to the CAE community.
Thank you. And again, if you go to nationalcyberwatch.org, events link on the upper right has information about all of these events, how to register for them, etc. So, I don't know what your question is, Tony, but you're up.
Okay. Can you pull up the CAEcommunity.org website? And while talking, that would be great. Okay, everybody. My name is Dr. Tony Colson from Cal State San Bernardino, and I'm currently the person that's set up and managing the CAE community. So once you become a Center of Academic Excellence, or just want some information before you become that, there's a website for that. But once you become a CAE, you're part of a larger community. And we're in the process of setting up everything from a governance structure to provide input on several issues. One thing to know about cybersecurity specifically is that cybersecurity doesn't stand still. So the purpose of the CAE community is not just a website, but we also have an annual meeting to get together and talk about issues related to cybersecurity. And probably one of the what's near and dear to everyone's heart is the knowledge units that we use to accredit and how they need to evolve and change with the field. So the community website was set up as a way that once you become a CAE, log in as a member and start adding events that you want your CAEs to know about. But you can also be involved in discussing and voting on knowledge units and how the knowledge units are to evolve. So if you see something new or something that has that needs to change, such as I'll give you an example: database classes with relational database versus the NoSQL databases, and you feel that is a piece. you can put that in, and your feedback is actually collected. We vote upon it, and we send that feedback up to the NSA program office. So, to CAE community, I'm looking at it as sort of a benefit of becoming a CAE because you become part of a larger community. There's, of course, the ATE centers are under the resource tab. We're trying to tie to a lot of the activities and resources that the ATE centers are doing, just to let people know about them. But I think the main piece of this is that we as a community come together and cybersecurity issues, and we let people know, such as the program office, here's where we think the field is going, and here's what we would like to see for future criteria, and so on. And there's all support frameworks, etc. The most important thing I just want to note with the CAE community is this does not supplant the efforts of groups like National CyberWatch, but rather enhances National CyberWatch by another avenue for the different CAEs to be able to communicate together. So the CAE Research, CAE IA/CD, CAE 2Ys, and the Cyber Operations Cs that all fit under this website. At the CAE meeting that is coming up in November in San Diego, travel assistance for if it all comes through. And it'll be a chance for us to elect people to positions to make certain parts that everyone feels passionate about related to the CAE community. And you want to take a look around, it's www.caecommunity.org, and you can look at the calendar and see some of the events that are coming up.
Thanks. And I personally have used that to promote various events and whatnot, so encourage folks to take a look at that. And Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, CyberWatch West also has technical support and people and resources available also to help folks map it. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. The CyberWatch West, I'm the co-PI for faculty development, but we also offer mapping assistance. We take us on the 14 western United States, including Alaska and Hawaii, as kind of their assistance arm, because we don't want to overlap too much. But we actually have a call out right now for one-on-one mapping assistance and mentorship, where we have a dedicated consultant who will assist you in getting your KUs mapped. We actually refer people as a starting point to National CyberWatch for help with the criteria, the initial criteria, because they have put together such an excellent book and so on. But if you are in the western United States and you have direct assistance, CyberWatch West can help you. If you have URLs on either one of these places, you can go to caecommunity.org, click on the Resources tab, and you'll see National CyberWatch and CyberWatch West listed there.
Excellent. So let's open it up for questions. We've got about 6 minutes. Let me go ahead and, at the risk of audio devolving into chaos, unmuting everybody. If you go ahead and unmute everybody, and then if you don't have any questions, you can mute yourself. I'll use the chat feature in if those that are logging into WebEx. You can post your questions in the chat, and I'll happily direct them to the appropriate question. If you are in CAE, Tony, that'd be for you. I assume they're talking about the CAE community.
Let's see.
Because I'm on the page. I'm actually on the page. I actually text that questionnaire. I'm on that page, and I'm trying to set up a account. And it says related CAE, and it says if you are a faculty member, please enter your CAE institution.
Okay. Are you a CAE?
We are CAE. We are
okay, so you just got it. We are waiting from the program office to give us a white list.
Yeah, that's my fault, Dan. I'm sorry. I haven't sent them the updated list.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So you will send them that, and then I'll be able to join, because right now I cannot.
Absolutely. Yeah, what happens is that the program office sends us a white list of names and contacts, and then you can also nominate other contacts for your university to be able to come in and be able to work and advertise things that they are doing.
Okay. I wanted to put something in the news because we're having online training, and I just wanted to make sure I add that for faculty.
If you would like, you can email me directly.
Okay, it's me.
This is Tony Colson.
Okay, Tony.
Yeah, and I can throw it up there for you too if you need me to, Dan.
Okay. Can do that. I will send that information out.
Okay, and if there's anyone else in Dan's position, next week most of us will be at. We're having 2 designation ceremonies this year, so most of us will be at the other ceremony. So I'll staying back and I'll be doing things like that. So if you are similar to Dan, I'll have those up to Tony from next week.
And my event is happening June 8th, so I kind of like that up there sooner than later in case anybody from North Carolina wants to join that training.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Doctor. I still struggle with women, with a desire, maybe want to do some business because I was looking at crack cocaine at the age of 30.
I think we have a lot of background noise, guys.
People not muting their phones. So it's hard because I have to unmute everybody so they can talk, and then people forget to mute their phones or their microphones. So we've got a couple minutes for questions if anybody has any. Quickly, you go to the National CyberWatch Center website and click on Programs and Resources. There's a drop-down menu. Digital Press is the second option. And under Digital Press, you have a couple resources available. A guide for mapping courses to knowledge units is one of the resource guides that's been out for about a year, put together by a team of folks that have had a lot of experience doing this. It will be updated in the colloquium and the Community College Cyber Summit. But certainly I welcome everybody to go check this out, download it. It's an excellent resource for your use in this process. Questions for our panelists?
Casey, this is Stephen. I have a question about putting ebooks on the website. I just co-authored a book with one of our industry partners on SCADA security, and basically a free book for students. We're actually developing a course. Could we put on the site?
Well, why don't you can contact me offline? We can certainly talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
I posted my email in the chat room. There's a question here from Anthony Pinto. Just to clarify, once the application site opens July 1, it will be opened until January 15th. As I originally heard, it would close August 1 and then reopen September 15th.
No, it will not close after August 1. But if you are trying to start that group of companies that did it, that should have come in, but just didn't have the support to come in at this time, and you are position where your CAE designation may lapse or you may lose it, we open that up for those particular people. But anyone can come in. So it will not actually close. It will just be it will be open, but those that submit by August 1st, you just will not be recognized until June 2016. Again.
Thank you, Shel.
So if you don't submit August 1st, you have till January 15th.
Okay. Thanks. So I want to be respectful of people's time. It's 12:01. We're 1 minute over. So that's the official program for today. I want to thank our panelists, Dr. Tony Colson, Dr. Vera Zrakovich, Denisa Jackson, and Michael Burt. Next webinar is August 28th. Let me mute some people here. I'm getting some feedback. I apologize. It'll be 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a question and answer session with folks from the Advanced Cyber Forensics Education Consortium at Daytona State College. We've got a number of resources available, videos, content related to digital forensics, and I encourage everybody to go to National CyberWatch under the webinar section. If you click programs and resources at the top, webinar series, you'll see not only upcoming but past webinars, and you can click on those and get PowerPoints, links to recorded videos, and registration information. So hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope at a great end of the semester. We'll see many of you in a couple weeks in Las Vegas, and until then, we'll see you next time. Take care.